Sing in me muse, and through me tell the story of those people skilled in all ways of contending, the Dragonlords, harried by fate and prophecy. Sing of the cities they saw, of the minds they learned of distant peoples, and weathering many bitter nights and days deep in their hearts, while they fought to save their homes and lives of all Thyleans. Of these adventurers, muse most sacred of daughters, tell us in our time. Lift the great song again. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Oathsworn, an Odyssey of the Dragonlords campaign here on Neon Lights Roleplay. I, of course, am your GM for the evening, Turk or Turk Accented. If you, like me, are enjoying the fruits brought to you by the struggles earned by those who have come before, fighting against those who try to suppress them. Happy Labor Day, everybody. At least those in the US, those in Europe have already celebrated solidarity. But, you know, we like to be different. Anyway, that all being said, I am your primary storyteller for the thing, but I have a bunch of really awesome fellow storytellers here around our proverbial fire. And before we properly kick off, I think it would only be right and just and true to let them introduce themselves to you. So, in the order in which you are used to introducing yourselves, perhaps an introductory order of sorts, seeing how many times you can throw introduce into a single sentence as it's running on here. Please tell people who you are, who you're playing tonight, what path they walk, and what position they would likely be on a ship. Starting, of course, with the starter of all things that start, Comrade Crash.
Hey, I am Comrade Crash. I am going to introduce my character, Leo Dracos, the human paladin of the Dragonlord, and he walks the path of the Vanished One. And honestly, position for the ship would definitely be Drummer Boy. And up next, let's pass it on to Sir Heck.
Hey everybody, it's me, Sir Heckolite. And other than being the lower point of the triangle we are forming with our cameras today, as per usual, I'll be playing Calliope, the College of Epic Poetry bard, who's a siren that also walks the path of the Dragon Slayer. I'm not sure if there's like an official title for the lookout. This is the guy that's up in the crow's nest.
Lookout. Yeah.
Okay, so just the lookout, great. That's what I think Calliope would be doing.
All right. Which brings on over to our final angle of this isosceles triangle.
Yes, hello, I am Tony. I am playing Eliana Lugid, the High Elf Prophecy Cleric, who walks the path of the Gifted One. If Eliana is going to be taking any position on the boat, it is the bosun.
I love bosuns, because it's not spelled how you think it should be. And that tricks me up. I was saying boatswain for so long.
Oh.
Anyway.
But that's me. We've completed the Illuminati.
Yeah,
Yay!
I know. Of course, this being a holiday, we are down a few folks, but fear not, they will return to your screens in due course. That being said, we do have a bit of a quieter session, so I hope you are comfy cozy with some barbecue in your belly if you had a chance to indulge. Otherwise, thank you so much for hanging out. But let's jump right back in where we left off, because you all had just pulled into the port of Mitros. Bustling city that it is, only this time with a bit more cheers and a plume. As you are manning the legendary ship, the Ultros, and have done so while also exercising the former spirit of its captain. The Dragonlord, Esther Arklander, is gone from this world, finally. Hopefully.
Don't you
Where is
test
he?
us like that. Like, he better be gone. I'll kick him into the ether as many times as it takes.
That being as it is, Mitros, of course, swelled to greet you all like it's the heroes you all are by this point, having freed them from many dangers, both interior and exterior. But now the greater challenge is prepared for you. Having the legendary ship Ultros allows you a certain freedom of movement thus far unknown to much of the merchant fleets of the settler and native races. You can now sail across the Forgotten Sea and perhaps actually bring an end to the threat that faces all of Thylea. That being said, currently your ship is unmanned, unstocked, and frankly in need of serious refurbishment because there's, as was very kindly pointed out last time, there's no steering wheel at the moment. So you are going to need to look into getting the Ultros outfitted properly, something that can be set up, hopefully, by the talented folks here on the docks. But additionally, you're going to need to look into, seeking services of a temple, perhaps, to bless and consecrate the ship, in addition to maybe providing a priest to oversee services. Again, sailor, I will not play into a stereotype of saying that sailors are superstitious, but this is a age, and you know your people, they do venerate their gods, and in doing so, that requires organized service. Having at least a representative of one of the 5 gods would be preferable. Even if you do have a cleric on board amongst you, it would probably be nice to have somebody who is not in a leadership position while also having to see to that. Additionally, of course, provisions and sacrificial animals, as food and wine, water, obviously needed for the voyage. You also may need to ply the favor of Sidon in case you want to move faster through his seas. The Ultros is resistant to his storms, but that does not make it capable of just doing whatever it wants. You are still reliant on the winds and storms and sky being clear enough that, and the sea being calm enough that you're able to navigate to where you need to go. So having a few rams and sheep on board would not only be useful as sacrificial animals, but emergency food supplies. Finally, you kind of do need to consecrate the ship once it's completed. Ceremony needs to be observed, and so looking into some fine wine, perhaps, to bless the ship deck with would be preferable to the blood ritual it was once consecrated in before you had attained it. That being said, you have been greeted by the king and queen. Valis, of course, being much more receptive to you all. The king, well, Acastus is Acastus. You knew him at the very least for a glory hound, and he's proven that with the sour face he gave you all, and the speed at which he left from greeting you.
Uh-huh.
Good.
But that does put a bit of an internal timer on your minds. You know the king is not a fool. You know he is a plotting and scheming sort. You know he knows how to manipulate the hearts of the people. You likely want to get moving sooner rather than later before he can cook something up to undermine you and even perhaps prevent you from leaving port. Anyway, the scene is all yours as your friendly neighborhood ghost seems to be capable of manning the ship at the moment. And the city is welcoming and is ready to receive you.
Yay.
So,
So
Same
so,
brain.
we share a brain cell today. I'm going to guess that we have 48 hours, give or take, to get people supplies and leave. At best.
Yeah,
It-
maybe giving a little bit more to give there, just because I'm not sure how long repairs would take. We would have to ask around.
It might be, well, getting the dockmaster and any boatsman you know to begin working on this today, probably better than tomorrow, you figure. Based on how quickly they might be able to work, you have seen the Ultros is a strangely pliable ship. The fact that it was wrapping around your limbs as you were trying to fight it,
True.
and does seem to have some magical properties. It might be easier or harder to work with, but the main thing would be adding on some missing parts and outfitting it in certain ways that makes it more manageable for the living to navigate. Buffing out those scratches and sopping up the bloodstains. He's a good spit shine. Some bleach,
Yeah.
maybe. I don't know. Turpentine.
It might be best if we divide and conquer.
I think so too. What do you think, Co-Captain Leo?
Sure. I think so. But I'll be honest, I used to just fly dragons, and they were much easier to deal with. So,
Yeah, that's
trying to-
probably true.
yeah, because I don't know what to feed a boat. So that's going to be the hard part.
Well, that's actually where we've got you. We don't have to feed this one. We just have to maintain it. So it's just the
Okay.
the whole maintenance part.
Okay, so he eats wood. Got it.
Right. Anyway, Leo, do you think you could probably look into getting the ship repaired and getting people to man the ship?
Yeah, I think I can handle that.
I need to run for supplies for myself before we leave anyway, so while I'm there, I can see if there's anybody willing to supply the ship with supplies. Food, water, all that. I'm forgetting what else we needed.
Sacrificial wine, some sacrificial animals, priest service, or at least a service from a temple.
On deck or just like for the consecration part at
it'd
the
be
end?
good to maybe have one or two on deck, like as part of your crew. Or at the very least one. But also there for the service to consecrate with the wine.
Okay. Love it.
Maybe Calliope, if you could get the religious things and check up on Kira since you'll be towards that way.
Yeah, the neighborhood, sure.
Maybe she'll even be willing to help now. She should be
Maybe.
better. Although I feel like if she was better, she'd be here, so.
Yeah, I'll see what's going on. What, did you not want to see her?
I'm more surprised that she just isn't here. And she kind of just gives like a
Fair enough.
light leer, just like a
Grumpy face.
The Eliana classic. Does anyone need anything while I'm there in the shops?
Not off the top of my head.
No, I can't think of anything either.
Right.
Do we think maybe having backups of really any, like, armory type things might be worthwhile? In case someone has, like, armor or a weapon that breaks?
Well, I can fix it.
Okay.
I do have mending as long as it's not, like, completely disintegrated or lost.
Okay.
Yeah,
I
are we
like
gonna need
it.
to arm our crew?
Ooh, I mean, maybe that that actually that might be a good idea.
Well, you know someone with a whole bunch of spears that you might be able to get a few people armed with.
Those are my spears, thank you.
Oh
Get your
wow,
own.
not sure.
No.
No.
Yeah, so I think we might need some weapons just in case, more ghosts pop up or big
Whatever else is
fish.
in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. While you're looking for crew, see how many men you can find capable, and then we can look into weaponry, because I don't want to buy too much and be, scrapping around for the rest of the things we need.
Agreed. Well, do we know how many people roughly that we're going to want on a crew?
Are you still on the ship while you're asking these questions?
Sure.
Probably, yeah,
Yeah,
while
I
we're
think so.
figuring out what we need.
We'll need at least 50 of the oars. You hear from
Oh, good lord.
aboard.
Oh,
But another 50 just in case. They'll put us to full speed. In case we need to ram something.
okay.
Oh,
So we're
that's gonna
looking
be a
at-
lot of people.
There's not just that, it's also deckhands, cooks, all that jazz. So we're probably looking at like 140
Navigation.
people,
Like,
Mm.
yeah,
Please.
at least.
because you also have to give them shifts.
Oh yeah. You want you will hear the Ultros seems to be able to house about about 100.
Oh.
What? House or just like
It's crew. There is actually stats for the Ultros. Its
Mm.
optimal crew size
cool.
is 100 with it's 100 for functional crew plus whoever you add on.
Oh.
But you
Okay.
need
Okay.
50 to man the oars. It's a
Mhm.
big ship,
Alright.
as you are aware,
so 100 men, give or take.
and women.
I mean, this
And
could
women.
also include like something like
100
I'm
sailors.
I'm very surprised. I'd be very surprised if each of these sailors only knew how to do one thing. Like cross training is definitely the thing. So maybe
You're gonna have
we
to
should.
one piece it and get specific people too. Like, oh, we need a cook.
Mm-hmm.
And a reindeer.
What?
What? No. We do not need Tony.
Okay. What?
Tony Chopper,
I
specifically.
get it. Anyway. Fucking One Piece.
Anyway. Yes.
But yes, if you'd like to, you all can go and head out and do your assigned task one by one. If anyone would like to go first.
I would like to go first because I think I might even go up to the captain and just like say, "Hey, this is my first time being co-captain."
Yeah, well, it's
How-
my first time being perhaps not entirely physical.
Oh, it's first for both of us. Cool. How do I get a crew together?
Well,
Do I
let's see. Are you very famous?
No, not really.
What do you mean?
That might complicate things.
Yeah. Oh,
You're
that's
clearly
not good.
very capable, though. So,
Yes.
Perhaps you might be able to show off your skills or attract attention through some great deed you could do for the city. There are villains in the city you might be able to smite.
I don't think I can kill a king,
Oh,
but
I mean, kings are just people like us all, unless this land is different.
true. But no. Now I remember. Previously, there were some games that were held in our honor, and I have all these medals and stuff, and I like pull my different medals I got from the games and stuff. Do you think this will help?
I mean, probably.
Awesome. I think, yeah, Leo puts those on. Okay. I think
I should also let you all know your fame level has increased to 6.
6.
Which, as a description, tales of your great deeds have spread to the cities, and your presence draws many curious onlookers. You have free food, drink, and lodges in Astoria and Mitros. Anyway.
Awesome. But I think Leo's very humble, so he doesn't
You
really think
may
about that.
want to head to a local drinking hole for sailors and see who is available, or these athletes and others you have spoken of. Simply call out that you are seeking capable crew with great intentions. Call to adventure,
Okay.
you know?
That
Always
sounds
draws in a few brave souls. Oh, you also get some weird ones. I knew a man with an octopus he talked to.
That is weird.
Alright, best of luck. I would join you, but I tried walking down the gangplank and pulled back, you know? Like a sticky piece of
Interesting.
honey.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Yeah, and I think Leo kind of brushes himself off because we did kind of have a fight recently, and a little bloodied, but not too bad. And I think I just head off the boat, and I think, yeah, instead of yelling, I'm just walking around just saying, hey, do you want to join our crew? We need some able-bodied seamen.
Make me a persuasion check. I will not tell you the DC, but I'll say just saying, hey, want to join my crew is going to get you some mixed results. What part of the city are you doing this in?
I think at the harbor, just like I'm starting at the very beginning and just working my way out.
Okay.
You said persuasion, right?
Yeah, persuasion.
Boom. Let's see. Oof. 9.
Well, with 9, of course, the crowd of onlookers that you attract because of who you are and the fact that you are, you know, the Oracle's chosen and a Dragonlord, like, there's no, it's not difficult to draw attention to yourself when you say, yes, we are going to head to the heart and defeat the Titans and fight them in one-on-one combat. A lot of people in the crowd immediately start like backing away. Some kids seem like really eager to go with you, like starstruck in their eyes, but their moms like throw their hands down and start dragging them away. Though you do, of course, get a big hand up in the air from Friendly Face, or two Friendly Faces, I suppose, in the form of Bullbug and Footlon, who are more than eager to sign up after they got some food once they got to shore.
Great. We have our first couple volunteers.
Yeah, just make sure there's some food on board.
Yes. We're gonna have tons of food for you and the boat.
Boat's gotta eat.
Yeah. Needs fuel.
What's a boat eat?
Still don't know. Someone will figure it out soon enough.
Damn, first I've heard of this. Anyway, I'll go grab all my stuff. Done.
Awesome. Good job. Well, head on up.
It
Get
is
your
at that
bunk.
point you do get I hear a sound of some people parting in the crowd. Let me wait. Move, yeah. Tallies, come on, move. As a dwarf shoves his way through with a sack over his shoulder. Alright, there you are. I thought I heard that yelling about Dragonlords and all that. You one of them oracle's chosen folk?
Yes, we are.
Looks at you. I'm looking for a EO.
Ooh, EO. I don't think that's us.
Oh wait, there's a scribble here. It might be one letter more added on the EO.
Yeah, no, I'm just new in town. An EO.
It's Nat Leo's turn with the brain cell today.
Well, you find the EO, tell him I got some stuff from Vulcan.
Oh, Vulcan. I know that guy.
Yeah, everyone knows Vulcan. He's one of your gods.
Oh, of course. Yes.
Well, you find the EO of the Oracle's chosen, you let me know. We fixed up the axe and shield he had busted up.
Did we have an axe?
No, you needed it repaired.
Oh. That was so long ago.
It was a while ago. It's okay if you don't remember in character. It
gonna
feels
do
like that would be appropriate.
History check.
Yeah, sure.
17.
Oh my gosh, of course. No, you recovered the axe of Xander and the golden shield of Vulcan from the Tomb of the Dragonlords. It was literally personally handed to you by Xander's spirit. Except they were both in terrible states of repair and needed to be fixed in order to be at full power.
Yeah, I think it just like hits me. Oh, hey, are you maybe looking for Leo? That's me.
Oh, that might be it.
Yes.
He moves over and holds out a piece of paper. Just sign that while I'm getting these out of here. And he opens the bag and reaches his arm in further than it should be possible to reach an arm in, and seems to grab a hold of something as you sign your name to it, and pulls out a brilliant golden axe, and what kind of appears to have the head of a dragon as its on this either sides of its blade. Is a great axe, and he'll kind of offer it over to you very casually, like he's not, holding some serious artifact at all.
Yeah.
And then we'll reach in again and pull out a massive golden shield with the head of a lion engraved on its front. The lion's mouth is large enough it almost encapsulates the entirety of the shield and seems to have a spot you feel like it could fit your head in.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, and I think I'd take those and just like awkwardly, I don't know, equip them.
Alright, I also got a list of things needed, what was it here? Frenos. That birdie one. Not the singy birdie one, the other one. What does the Stormin? You know anyone like that?
Yes, he's my friend.
Ah, good. Then you can hand this off to him. And he hands you what's effectively a letter or a scroll.
Oh, he's gonna be disappointed. I got all these gifts and he only got a letter.
Oh, you're supposed to fucking share it, aren't you? It's the spirit of giving.
Yes, of course.
Right. Now you be good, and maybe Vulcan will get you another gift on the holidays. Anyways,
Awesome. Good
fly
day.
with you. And he trudges back off. Move! Move! I got more deliveries to make. Move!
But yeah, I think at that point I am like standing very heroic with this huge shield, this giant axe, and I'm saying, I am looking for brave adventurers.
You make me a persuasion check again with
Persuasion.
advantage.
Oh, sway. Persuasion. Advantage. Oh, 15.
I'll say you begin to draw a throng of capable sailors and warriors towards you. Some of which you feel you recognize in the moment, but you might have just been passing phases. But we will kind of pause on that scene right there as you begin to draw a crowd of capable people towards you. Let's go next.
I'll go next.
Right, and what are you looking to solve?
I am looking for a priest to have on deck and to maybe consecrate the Ultros.
Sure. Well, there's a number of temples. Main two ones would be the Temple of Sidon and the Temple of the Five up in the Temple District.
And there are honestly like pros and cons to both of them. I don't think anyone in the Temple of Sidon wants to talk to us, though. I'll be honest.
Never gone in there, but
I've never gone in there, but between like what we did with like stopping the storm and like also I don't know desecrating the Therius temple, I don't think they want to talk to us. So you know, if we get to that point, I'll try. But I feel like starting with the 5 is probably the better option.
That's fair. You were well, I'll say this: as you enter past that gate, you were greeted with two sights. One, an increasing number of statuary depicting Eliana in several poses and artistic scenes.
Oh my god.
And also a scrap pile of the older statues that seem to be being moved and slowly broken down to be repurposed.
Oh my god. That's wild.
But
I low-key forgot about that.
Sulla Nordragon is hard at work sculpting what appears to be his greatest masterpiece yet, a statue of David size depiction of Eliana. He's just working at. He seems to just be on scaffolding, staring at the face. You make the insight check. As
Sure.
his state of mind.
Oh, not an advantage. Do that normal roll, please. 16.
He is both deep in thought as to how to properly capture the beauty of this piece, clearly, and also just moved by what he's seen and wistful. But he seems to be stuck a little bit.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I think Calliope would call up to him, and say, "Hey, you've done an excellent job with the musculature, but don't forget that she has very delicate features as well around the face."
Of course, she is a warrior, but a beauty, and moves with grace that inspires the goddess, which it's a goddess has commissioned this piece. And he taps a little bit of the stone off and seems to smooth it out and then caress the face to kind of smooth it more than I will work on it. Thank you, of course, for your input.
Of course. Wait, hold on. Who commissioned this?
Oh, well, the goddess of bards herself.
I was about to say, take
I
a
see.
wild fucking get.
Yeah, I was like, just to confirm,
Said my other work was not truly befitting of the beauty of my inspiration. And only by trying to match the sculpture of Pythor might I truly gain her attention. Now, there is an empty plinth out there, but I must practice.
Well, best of luck to you.
Thank you. Hopefully
And just
someday
kind
the
of-
city will be greeted with a vision of beauty. And all may look to her and see as the morning sun rises that she is more beautiful than even nature itself.
Just internally, Calliope's just like, he's going to have about, I think, 5 chances to live. Right? Eliana has 5 spears, is it?
I think more than 5.
Is it more than 5? I don't know. 4? Okay, yeah. You have 4 chances to live. If he dodges the 4, God help him. That's just like kind of her internal monologue right now. But yeah, Yas's gonna go on her way after that.
Right. Well, you enter the Temple of the Five, and as stated previously, but now in much better spirits, it's a relatively humble temple, as opposed, well, to the Peripeteros, that is the Temple of Sidon. Peripteros, sorry. Almost had a Greek nerd come and tell me what for. But it does feature a lot of the number 5 repeating itself over and over. It has a large amount of, while it lacks in size, it kind of makes up for in the amount of artistry filled within, as statues and artistic representations of the 5 gods are kind of, they fill the space and work together beautifully with lofty architecture and intricate embellished carvings, basically completely covering every surface here. But there are a number of attendants about. This does seem to be a place that worships all gods of the 5 equally, so you're probably a pretty good bet here.
Mm-hmm.
So what would you do?
Well, I'd probably go up to at least one, if there are more attendants just kind of gathered together somewhere, just kind of go to like a relatively populated area, approach a group, and just say something along the lines of, "Hi, I'm Calliope. I'm one of the Oracle Chosen. You might know me. I
Of course, yes. No, of course, we are very aware of you, those who serve and venerate the 5 with their very existence. You are, please, enter. Is there anything we can do for you? Are you in need of healing?
Oh, no, thank you. I tell you what, after the fight yesterday, I totally was. We got in quite a scuffle, but I'm totally fine now. No worries. I was dropping by to talk about a kind of unique opportunity that the Oracle Chosen would like to offer the Temple of the 5, which would be accompanying us on the Ultros as we sail through the Forgotten Sea.
To the Forgotten Sea. You seek to challenge the Titans, then?
Well, as the Oath of Peace is close to expiring, as you're probably aware, yes, that is something that we want to pursue for the sake of everybody. I know this is a big ask, and of course we wouldn't, make anybody do this. Why we wanted to ask you all first out of anyone.
Of course. Let me bring you to one of the high priests. I am a mere acolyte. I can't provide such great services as of yet. And he'll escort you further back towards kind of the larger mosaic with draconic imagery kind of all centering around what seems to be kind of an honoring of Mitros the Golden Dawn. As she's depicted ascending, kind of her head almost entirely becoming a sun. Her physical depictions not as pronounced. Where who you can quickly identify as a high priest. The long vestments and leading a small prayer for a number of the attended here in praise of Mitros and the rest of the five. Your attendant, the acolyte, will pause and wait for the prayer to be done. Will you also do the same?
Yeah.
We're
not necessarily in a hurry. This is not the limiting factor here.
It takes a little bit of time, but eventually it does break, and High Priest will notice Acolyte with a guest and will approach. She turns and smiles at you, clearly more adorned to Mitros than any of the others, any of the other five, though she does wear symbology of all five on her. It's clear. If she's a high priestess, it's in particular relation to Mitros in this case. Yes, child.
I just, like, I basically repeat the same thing as I just said to the attendant.
And she'll think on it. You have done much for this temple, and indeed the faith of the five as a whole. We would be foolish not to at least provide you with what you ask. Sacrament of the ship will be conducted by the five of us. I will have it put to our congregation immediately. Amongst our acolytes, I will seek our most bold souls and try to limit those who favor Kira from throwing themselves into danger as they are wont to do. I'll have to soothe the ego of the Pythorites as well. It will take time, but we will convene, and you will have someone on your ship who is capable of healing and providing aid. And we will be there when your ship is ready. I assume you're preparing the sacramental wine and animals?
Yes, we're currently in the process of securing all of it.
Good. That is good. Then you will know of our termination, who will join you on the day of the ceremony. Simply send a messenger, and we will be down when your ship is ready.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thank you. You have done much more for the city than you know. Done much more for us all than you know. And you have so much more to do.
We've surmised that.
Take heart, young one. The shining dawn smiles down on you. Excuse me, I must gather.
Good day.
To you as well. Right, I think with that, let's jump over to Eliana.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
All right,
yeah.
What are you up to?
Buying stuff.
Buying stuff?
Yeah.
In the Great Agora?
Of course.
Well, as you're familiar, The Great Agora serves as the heart of both the Noble District and Mitros itself. It's a bustling, happening place. What could you possibly be looking for there? Is it perhaps Grimmick's armory? Is it perhaps Zorin's concoctions? The Great Menagerie? The Vault of Thylea?
What is the Vault of Thylea?
It's a bank. Or rather, it's part bank, part temple to Thylea, as the bankers here are all druids and devotees of Thylea, the mother goddess. Basically, they store all your money in a great oak tree in the center of the bank here. And it, they tend and grow this as needed. Thylea being the counterpart of Kentamane, the many-handed. Anyway, mythology, lore.
So I assume the concoction place would probably be where I'd find some spell components.
Yes.
Yes.
It also, yes. So, the small shop is tucked away in a shady corner of the marketplace. The inside of the shop is dusty and dark and all stocked with bottles of all kinds. And a cloaked and robed figure, to what you would see of those in the academia, but clearly more reserved and with hands that appear to be scarred and wrapped with bandages will approach you. What's the matter? What can I help you with?
Hello, I'm looking for a few things for focusing my magic.
Magical spells. Excellent. I have a great amount of options. As well as potions you might use for great effects. Protective talismans, other such curios.
Well, do you have a jeweled horn? Worth about 100 gold.
A jeweled horn, you say? From any particular animal?
Not necessarily.
Then I believe I could make something work. A moment. And he slides behind, and you see some arcane chanting from the back as he returns. Honorable, guaranteed no minotaurs. I have bejeweled it as requested. Do you
May
need
I?
it carved?
So yeah, I'm gonna inspect it. Is it? Would I know if it's what I'm looking for?
You can make me a nature check to determine, or an arcana, I suppose, in this case.
Ooh, both these are bad. Let's go. Oh no! I got a 2.
You really wouldn't know if you asked for a bejeweled horn, right? And this is a bejeweled horn. You guess this probably would work.
Oofy, ouch. Alright. Do you happen to also have a glass eye?
Of course. Oh, you still have both quite attached.
Yes, this is something for one of my magics. As well as the
I suppose for one needing material components such as that, I can. He seems to procure one as if from his sleeve. Provide some insight.
You just happen to have that on you.
I have a number of magical components. Unlike those book readers and talkers up at the academy, I am an actual practitioner of magic. prestidigitize a little bit. Emphasize this point.
Cheers. All right. How much is this gonna run me?
Well, let's see. Real talk. The horn was 100. Glass eye. That's just.
It's also supposed to be 100.
Yeah, 200 gold should settle our debt.
She'll look a little stunned, just like, damn.
These are
But also-
no small minor things you are seeking to channel. The components are well worth the effects of the spells you are trying to cast, I know of no doubt.
True. Would you also, before I leave, happen to have any diamonds on you?
Well, I try not to show them unless you are serious, but he does move to a shelf and take out a small box and open it up in what appears to be specifically inlaid diamonds, cut precisely to a certain amount for, say, a certain spell needed in the most dire of moments.
All right.
The spell who shall not be named, apparently.
Yes, if you say it, it can't hurt you. Will this suffice as payment as I procure one of my second place Great Games medals?
Oh gosh, how much was
It's
that?
worth 500.
500. That should be more than enough. Yeah, and he looks behind you. You have already provided me a very great service by being here, and he'll push, and he'll include the set and the eye and the horn. I do hope you have no use for some of this, but the other part of me does hope, so that you might return quickly. Can I not
I
offer
don't
you?
know.
Cannot interest you in any potions or protective charms? A peripata feeling, perhaps? If you are seeking to stave off death, I have potions to heal the body as well. A bulla, perhaps? Guaranteed, I am no charlatan.
I don't necessarily doubt you. Right now, though, I need to ensure that I have enough for the funds to make our boat sailable. We're having to go into the seas for some time.
Of course. Though, what worth is it as a what worth is a ship if its crew dies? A simple investment now could save you later. The bulla is my most requested item, though few can afford the price. You'll twist it. If you're not familiar with what a bulla is, it's basically a acorn-shaped amulet engraved with a winged figure wielding a harp. In actual history, the bulla was kind of a coming-of-age talisman young boys would wear with some hairs and other magic things to kind of provide protection. In this case, it might provide some additional protections for the one wearing it, as long as they were, pure of heart and all that.
Perfect for Leo.
I
How
mean,
much is it, out of curiosity?
I usually would sell this for 2,000 gold pieces. You understand? It is a powerful and difficult to construct trinket. But for a good customer such as yourself, I would consider taking 500 off. 1,500. Peace of mind.
Is a nice discount, and I do appreciate that. I may be back once I'm done procuring what I need for the boat itself.
Of course.
You've done me
I-
quite a service with these items I've needed.
I will be here and open late. I have many customers who seek my wares for late night entertainment reasons, as their days of merrymaking mostly pass them by, you understand?
I don't think I want to, honestly.
I'm sorry. I spoke too long. I am very sorry. And he does seem actually like it's not like I've said too much. I'm like, but actually like embarrassed.
As he should be.
You get the sense there's a reason this guy was kicked out of the academy or doesn't like the academy because he doesn't like talking.
God, we're such a mood for Eliana.
She's like every second he keeps speaking, his foot gets closer to his mouth.
Dig that hole.
But he'll nod, and of course, after an exchange of coins, will be, or rather, exchange of the metal for the goods, will bid you good day. Is that all you'll be doing immediately, or?
I mean, in general, I'm looking around, like, seeing vendors for, like, the foods, the waters, the alcohol.
I will say, before we hit a very quick break in order to perhaps bring in another to our table here, you do know there is a wine stall here, and you'll head to it, and you're kind of having to push your way through a very very kind of seemingly hostile crowd to get to the person at the top, who's apologizing profusely, but all of their wine barrels have been purchased. They've been entirely bought out. Someone came in very recently and bought their entire supply. But before we head to break,
Who was it?
you do hear the sound of a donkey braying in the distance. And we are going to hit a really quick break just to do some editing and stuff of folks. And I hope you're all ready to join us when we get back. I know, but it'll be worth it, I promise. So yeah, hopefully you've been enjoying this far. See you all very soon. So stay right there. Hi, are we back? We're back, right?
We're back.
We're good. Okay, good. Sorry. I love you, Michelle. I'm sorry for making you run. Anyway, we're back, and there's a new face. So, new face. Why don't you give us a quick intro? A new face that we know, to be fair. Why don't you give us a quick intro?
Sure, I am Less Point Hero. I'll be playing Thrynos, the Siren Sorcerer, Demi-Titan.
And if you were on a ship, what role would Thrynos play on the ship?
Probably Lookout.
Sirens and Lookouts, name a more iconic duo.
I know.
Listen, I said the same thing.
It's
It's the go-to. I don't know.
Hilarious.
What do you want me to be, an aura person with these little tiny ass arms? Like,
We just sit up in the crow's nest and chill.
and yeah, we look
Mhm.
real good.
I'm not even particularly observant.
Anyway, I would love to focus on what Thrynos is doing right now. Is getting off the ship and knowing you have a number of things to accumulate. Is there anything in particular that Thrynos would be doing in this moment?
Well, I was going to ask a second ago before I grabbed my water and forgot. Is there anything that I specifically should go for? Because you listed things people were doing, but I wasn't sure what was still open-ended. You said wine was hard to come by.
Wine seems hard to come by, but we are going to jump back to Eliana on that. So you could be pursuing that lead as well. There's provisions in the sacrificial animal for the ship that I don't think anyone's really jumped on too fully.
Got it. Yep. And did we take our bros with us?
You, Folon and Bullbug were the first to sign up to be a part of your crew after they got some food in them. So they are currently hanging out with Leo at the moment. But if you pass by, your battle bro will, of course, accompany you wherever you go.
So I will pass by and say,
Yo!
I could really use some strong arms to help me out.
Well, I got 2 of those. And 4
Fantastic.
pretty strong legs.
Perfect, and a strong back.
Like 2 of them, theoretically. It is unclear how my biology works.
Now, if we were to get you a backpack, would you wear it like a saddle?
If it was a pack for my back, it'd
Right.
probably be best for me to get in a spot where I could use my arms. So, like, I'd wear it like you'd wear it, probably, unless that would get in the way of your wings, which also brings up a lot of questions that
Yeah,
I
I
don't
actually
think I can
can't wear
process right now.
backpacks. Yeah, I've never been able to wear a backpack.
Side satchels.
Satchels, all the time. Satchels are fantastic.
Bro, we should both get satchels.
We can do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we should probably see about finding some sacrifices for the trip. So, would you mind
Right.
coming with me? I'll need some help.
Sure thing, bro. So there is an actual menagerie in the Agora.
Mhm.
So you could head there. Would be the first choice. Beyond that, you could try to head to a temple that you haven't desecrated and buy some of their livestock off of them.
I think just the menagerie would be our best bet.
Perfect.
So,
Okay.
Menagerie.
So you will make your way over towards the Great Agora, and this shop is set up in a large tent at one of these stoas. Inside the tent, it seems darker and colder than it should be, as dozens of cages line the walls, and you're immediately greeted by a hooded figure whose face you cannot see, which I need to put on my hood for this. It's hoodie halftime, folks.
It is after the half.
Ah, welcome. I am the collector. What might I interest you in, friend?
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. My friends and I are preparing for a voyage, and we need to collect the appropriate sacrifices and provisions for the trip. And well, this might be a place to stop in.
Interesting. Sacrificial animals I can very easily provide, but could I also perhaps entrance you with some exotics?
Some exotic sacrifices.
He will begin walking you down the line of cages. As he shows you a muzzled lion, a cheetah, a cockatrice with a hood over its head. There is what is very clearly a harpy, also with a hood over its head, and a brown bear, a very fancy and combed over goatling with a cone over its mouth in the moment, as well as some more mundane animals. But he does try to interest you in the more interesting collection, and all for a very paltry price of a mere 100 gold pieces for any of these. Though I must stress, all sales are final.
But would I know why there would be the goatling and siren alternatives?
Well,
Like, do we get
because-
extra divinity points or something?
yeah, oh yeah, no, there's some extra stat bonuses for this is something that I feel you would be tangentially aware of, given you are a siren, and this is primarily a settler race city, and as has been pointed out by Queen Valis, the Flesh market does exist in Stygian Row for Minotaur. This seems to be a more socially acceptable extension of that, such that the Goatling and Harpy are seen as monsters and therefore don't count, even though you are well aware they are capable of speech and reasoning, even though they choose to do harm with that speech and reasoning on creations. Though Goatling harm is usually, calling your mom a bit too wide of the hip or something. It's more devious Lutherian acts rather than true evil. But they would probably eat you given the chance. But most of these animals would. But of course, there is also more mundane stock, goats and rams and sheep in a large pen. Though, of course, he is standing with his back towards that, so you won't look at those.
Well, honestly, I find such practices distasteful at best. Perhaps just that lean to look around him. Perhaps just sheep.
But how pedestrian. Certainly one of your tastes would find a more proper sacrifice more appealing. I could see about procuring something a bit more strange, but it would take time. My contact would require me sending a note.
I'm fairly certain the mundane is more than adequate.
Oh, very well. Regrettable as it may be, I will offer them at a price of 3 for 100.
I suppose that seems as appropriate as anything. Olan, did you bring any coin?
Oh, I mean, we were just talking about backpacks. Still do not have one, but I kind of thought you did. You would have some coin, I imagine you could
Quite a
pull
bit of
from.
coin on my character sheet, but I don't remember where it all came from.
Well, loot from temples, and I imagine.
I will assume that it is there correctly.
Oh yeah, I imagine everyone's gold is there correctly. You've been paid generously by the various people you've aided throughout the land.
Well, how many do you think we should get? I mean,
Oh
not
gosh,
a-
like
daily sacrifice, but we will need to eat, so it would make sense to get goats because goats also produce milk.
yeah, so like I don't know, it's like 3 for 100, so I don't know.
We're gonna have quite the crew.
At least 100.
I don't think I have the capital for that, and I'm not sure we have the space for 100.
Yeah, you don't want more goats than dudes. Just general party aesthetic rules.
That makes sense.
I'd go for 5, so that would be like what, 200?
Well, we can go with 6 for the same amount.
Oh, you're like wicked smart.
I was thinking it might make more sense to go with 12. That provides quite a bit longevity. I think an even dozen would be good.
Excellent.
And we would need milk producers primarily.
I will see to it that my staff look that over. And he snaps, and some physical, some automatonical. Servants do enter, being corralling them into a separate pen that seems to be capable of becoming a cage. I will have it delivered to the new ship that just came into port, of course.
Yes, that would be us. And while
Fascinating.
personally I don't partake, I'm sure some of the others may enjoy, foul eggs if you have any egg-laying creatures.
Unfortunately, my supply of chickens is limited.
That's fine then.
They are not a well-liked thing in the city. Much more preferential to the flying birds, which are, of course, more pretty to look at, but so much more difficult to catch. And my more higher-paying clients do prefer the more difficult prey. Though, speaking of which, on your journeys, if you were to come across any new and intriguing creatures, I would be willing to pay for new supply.
We will take into consideration capture for future sacrifice to the menagerie. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And he'll extend a hand for his payment.
I will pay 400 gold.
And he'll clearly begin supervising the movement of some cattle your way.
Cattle, sheep.
Well, sheep, yes, but you know what
I
I
don't
mean.
have room for cattle.
Alright, let's get out of the hood. Ooh,
Well,
there's dark
hold
thoughts
on,
in
I
that hood.
sometimes, friend, we're leaving. It's best just to agree to get someone to shut up.
Oh, right, because, like, you found him, like, totally trash, right?
I didn't think highly of the practice, no.
Totally trash.
There is a necessity to what we're doing. Well, we'll observe the necessities. I'm already considering avoiding or finding ways to avoid appeasing.
I get you. It's like, you gotta play the rules of the game, even if they totally suck.
For the time being, yes.
Totally get it. Totally.
But eventually, we won't have to worry about that anymore.
Alright. Would anyone like to jump to their scene next, as you've secured some initial provisions and sacrificial animals? Provisions / sacrificial animals, I suppose, in this case.
I guess we can check back with Leo and see how he's
Heck
doing.
yeah! So, Leo, you've got yourself quite the bit of crew there. Or at least people who want to be part of a crew. How are you sussing out the, enthusiastic from the, the well-wishers and the actual talent?
Oof. I think, it's going to be whoever wants to join in, take a step forward and stuff.
Well, a lot of people want to join in and step forward, but there's a lot of people there. How are you assessing those people who step forward?
Oh.
Make them tie knots. If a sailor can't tie a knot, they're out. That's like number one.
Well, what if I don't know how to tie a knot?
Oh no.
This is bad, Leo being
You
in
only
charge
have
of...
to manage people who tie knots.
Oh, okay.
However Leo would do it.
We can do the knot thing. He is just like he knows very little about sailing, and so he's like, I remember people, sailors always tying knots. That's a big thing. If you can tie a knot, you can join the crew. And what would
I mean, if you want to know how this might have been historically done, Mayo, you do have the actual sports stadium that is, that the Great Games were just held in. You could probably run some athletic tests.
athletic text? That's very good.
It's just a thought. I don't know what to do right now. It's just probably whatever. But you could take this throng of people over to Mount Vulcan and see who's most physically capable.
Okay, yeah, I do that.
Great. You begin leading a large group of people out towards the athletic fields of Mount Vulcan. Oh, wait, can I play the... I'm asking for permission to once again play the Olympic Games theme. I hope you're not all sick of it. All right, not hearing objections.
Nope.
And once again, the Great Games have begun, but in a smaller scale and kind of more for some competitions. The equipment is there. Staff do maintain and keep the field ready for, ritualistic games if and when they're needed. And heroes embarking on a great adventure is certainly a good enough need that you're allowed to enter in and have this throng of people begin competing in athletic shows of strength and skill and dexterity. They all test, for the most part, some of them to having naval experience. So you can at least know that they are capable of being sailors if they're not already sailors. But how would you oversee this?
On top of a crate. And so he...
I meant more, how so are you doing this? But also, on top of a crate feels like the most Leo answer I could get. So, why don't you make a perception check?
Cool. Perception. Normal. 13.
Looking over the assembled throng of potential warriors and crewmen, you are able to quickly suss out those who are, stronger, more well-built than others, as good rowers and crewmen to have on board. And you begin calling out a few of them to kind of join you and be known as a crew of the Ultros. There will be a few basically set up in the shot put, effectively tossing heavy stones, a time-honored tradition. And you are going to kind of see a few athletes chucking and throwing stones and measuring and looking to you for approval, looking to bullbug if you don't give them an immediate look, if they're not looking your direction. You do notice some familiar faces in the crowd with a 13. Spira, notably, is back. That the underdog from the games who had been recovering from an injury is once again amongst the thrall and does seem to be kind of ready to give it her all there. Leyland is also there, but it seems more so he's just really trumping everyone in the games. He's not really looking to you for approval, but you do recall he's amicable enough. Egan is also amongst those assembled. But what will immediately catch your eye is a hooded figure who is kind of seems hunched and crouched, but at the height of the rest of the group, who will take the shot put ball and almost seem to casually lob it beyond the bounds of the stadium.
Whoa. Now that's a throw.
And he clearly just looks down at the hand and begins like just walking back to get the second throw. Unless you want to do something.
No, I'm gonna watch and see if it was a fluke or not.
Takes the second ball, tosses it up in the air, measures it, and launches it again. Goes back and gets the third one, and pauses and seems to kind of be like tapping at it with their fingers, in like very close to their face. Gives it another chuck up in the air, catches it, and launches it again.
Awesome. I think Leo kind of jumps in excitement. It's like, I want that person in the crew for sure.
The crowd will part, and the figure doesn't seem to turn to face you yet, though it does seem to have a hand under their hood. What are you doing?
Oh, I think I say, hey, you!
Oh, not so loud, please. Oh, it's way too early in the morning for this. It's notably like past noon. He'll shift and seem to stand to full height, which is more deific than you recall as the hood slips back. And it's very obviously Pythor. Just, sorry, kind of. Are we trying out for the crew here?
Yeah, but you can't compete.
What do you
You're
mean
cheating.
I can't compete? Cheating? I would never cheat. I wrote an apology note and everything, and oh, that sun is bright.
Apology now. Oh, did you write this for Thranos?
Oh, that? He looks at it and... How do you open this thing? And he pops the seal himself and opens it. No. No, sorry, I got in last night and... I had a time. But, yeah, this morning, wouldn't sell me any more wine, so... Anyway, I need to go talk to my sister before I puke. And he slaps you on the back really hard, near like kind of causing you to stumble. Alright, good luck everyone else. We'll see you all on the ship.
So I need more people like him. Well, except the drunk part. Just,
Literally a god!
Hey, who doesn't strive to be a god?
That feels unfair to the rest of us with realistic expectations of our mortal bodies.
I just point at that guy.
Should I go home?
No.
Goodbye, Jiminy Cricket.
But yeah, I will say the last final note before we kind of close the scene, as you're beginning to kind of winnow this crew out, is there are a number. It's not just the locals that are here. You do note a Minotaur and Siren, and Satyr. A bunch of folk seem to be interested in participating. You swear you recognize one of them from the games when they were gonna be sacrificed, but you didn't because you're good people.
Yeah, no, I think those guys I pay close attention to, I don't want this to be all, I don't know, human. I want it
I got you.
diverse.
Absolutely. And as the awesome minor games continue, we're gonna hold right there. And who wants to go next?
I mean, we can go see what's coming up with Kira.
Kira.
Yeah. That was the
Right.
next thing on my to-do list. In my notes I just put a little
Okay.
check next to the
You
thing.
enter the palace and are, of course, escorted with guards until at which point those guards switch from clearly one type of guard to an Amazonian guard as you enter the area that's clearly more aligned with Phallus, and are brought to Kira's room. The curtains are pulled here, and you do see a figure in the bed as you had left, looking out towards the slivers of light.
Well, there's not really a door, but knock knock.
No response.
Can't tell if this is about to be a joke or you're actually sleeping really hard.
No
I'm walking
response.
in. I have 1 foot through. And then I
There-
walk in.
There is no response. The figure does not stir, just continues to face towards the small glimpses of light beyond the pulled curtains.
Right, I'm just gonna walk in.
No one's stopping you. The guards stop
Yeah.
at the door. You're alone, and this scene is quiet, private.
Yeah, like I'm walking in, like
You're in the room. You're good.
okay. Oh, you meant curtains like out that way. I thought there
Yeah.
was like a divider. and I
No,
was just
no,
like,
no, no, no. Curtains like outside.
okay. Totally misunderstood that entire thing. Okay. I mean, is she awake?
Figure hasn't moved since you went into the room.
All right, I guess I will proceed to see if Kira is awake.
You move over quietly towards the bed. Figure in repose does not shift, does not move. You lay a hand on the shoulder, perhaps. See if you can jostle her awake.
I mean, if she's sleeping, I don't want to disturb her. I mean, okay, fine.
You put a hand on the shoulder, and she feels cold to the touch. Very cold. And slightly abrasive? Like stone? And that's
God
when
damn it.
you realize it's a statue, as a voice behind you shouts, "Oh my god, I'm dead! Oh, we must call the gods immediately! Somebody!" She'll grab your shoulders. "I can't believe it! I died! And in the peak of my beauty, look! There, as I'm completely turned to stone, wouldn't that suck? To be
That
completely
really
turned
would
to
suck. I think that's what was happening to my soul as it left my body up at the top of that statue of Pythor.
Oh, you're not Eliana. Oh, no, keep facing that way. I'll put clothes on.
Oh, okay.
I'm joking. I'm
Wait
joking.
a minute.
I'm joking.
That's when you notice the statue is a statue of Eliana.
It absolutely is a statue of Eliana.
Yeah, of course it is.
Why?
Because
There's so many of them.
They're
Yeah,
really
there's-
cheap. But
And so common, you found one of Eliana sleeping.
yeah, exactly. Kira will move over and pull the curtains wide, and she'll look back at you, hands on hips, a big old smile. So, what'd I miss? I assume you're back, so you have a big old boat now.
We do have a big old boat. We,
Oh, no need to brag about it. Gosh.
I mean, it is kind of nice to brag about, especially in the company of some people. Not you, others.
Oh gosh. Was he there to greet you at the dock? I thought
I
I heard
mean,
the sound of wings flapping and children frowning.
yeah, fashionably late, as always.
He does nothing fashionably. Anyway, it has been entirely too long.
It has.
Yeah, so sorry about, being bedbound, but, exerting your goddessness in a way that nearly breaks the oath of peace really does put a little bit of weight on, so...
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, but where would we be if you didn't do that?
Let's see, you'd still have a really big boat, still be heroes of prophecy.
There'll be a big ass storm over the entire city, though.
Right, and that might rain your parade a little bit, but,
Literally.
well, yeah, that was part of the joke, though, for identifying it. It's good to have you around again. I can have people point out the humor in what I say. I'm sorry, I'm being so mean. But yes, you've all been up to quite a bit, and I hear you're in need of a crew.
Yeah, we currently have Leah working on that.
Oh god, why?
Well, someone has to, and I just went to the Temple
You
of the
came to
Five.
check up on me. You went to the Temple of the Five and then came to check up on me. That makes logistic sense, but you left Leo alone to choose who you're going to be spending the rest of your potential days with.
And I think Calliope's not going to say anything, but it is going to be very evident, like the face journey that she has of the realization of, oh, we did that. But she's still gonna say,
You live in that moment, yes.
well, it's not like he's doing this entirely alone. He had both of our more muscular hands to help.
Right.
Which, I mean, Folan does have sailing experience.
Sorry, I'm not caught up yet. Folong.
Oh, that's right. We have acquired another one since we last spoke. I didn't even think about that.
I'm going to guess by the fact that they are very burly, perhaps they might be more brawn than brains?
Perhaps.
Now, if I were to ask the rough average of brain cells rattling around between them, would I be angry at the number?
I don't know. It depends how short your temper is.
Well, I'm not exactly tall, but I have a lot of room to work with, and they're all very sweet, so I'm sure they'll do fine. It's just... Whew! I have a lot of ribbing on you all to catch up on, so...
A good thing that I'm the only one here to take all of it.
I mean, you could take it if you wanted to. You mean a statue of Liliana?
Oh. I did see the one that you're commissioning at the moment, by the way.
Oh, it's so easy. I basically promised that I'd have them interact again, and the boy went crazy.
Yeah,
I love preps.
Please be careful. She will probably kill him.
Yes, well, by the time she's back on land, I'll be back on land here, and well, I think we'll basically have stopped the end of the world, so she can do whatever the hell she wants.
Okay.
Well, let's give him a few days with her at sea. He'll probably catch on to someone else, hopefully. Me willing.
Hopefully.
Anyway,
what else? What else do I need to catch you up on? So there was that. Before that, we did meet a wonderful little band of thieving instrument players that you might know. Totally blanking on his name though. I didn't write it down.
Was it one of the four winds?
Yes.
Just
Well, I mean, just as easy as the other ones. We kicked his ass, so.
well, they're all pretty easy to be fair. I mean, what? I am a goddess and unburdened by mortal needs. I tell me, what do they look like?
Was this? I think this was the tiefling.
Blue tiefling, yes.
Yeah, the blue tiefling.
Glorious. Oh, right, yeah. Where did he get that accent? That's
No
clearly not
idea.
of these lands.
Could not tell you.
Well, that's 3 down, I suppose. One more Kratos bastard to go.
Yeah,
You got the instrument, right?
I did.
Oh,
Pulls out the boreal heart.
great. Good. I mean, I did go a little too hard on the one, but send it over to Vulcan and the Salamander, and I'll probably be able to get it sorted.
True.
Hopefully. Papa did make it on me the first time, so I'll put a little XOXO on it and see.
It'll be fine.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Just new fair. It's just a little bit of magic wonder working. It's fine. It's whatever. Anyway, I'm going to be getting my stuff onto your ship as your official chronicler. Well, I'll try not to take the best bunk, but, well, you know, I am kind of important, so.
You're going with us.
Why wouldn't I? I need to chronicle your adventures. I'm already so far behind. I mean, not that I'm really set to lose against you, but, you know.
We've just missed you, that's all. I'm willing to say it. Some of the others might not be, but.
And you're very sweet for that, and that's what I appreciate about you.
Yeah, preparations are underway. Hopefully everything is going okay with the others gathering supplies and people and everything.
I'll go talk to my sister. I'm sure she can rally some support if she's not already doing so. You get out of here, though. I'm sure it's been told the palace isn't safe right now. Sidon's thunderstorm wasn't enough. Now we've got the pity party that is the young Archelander.
That's another thing. We did have a little bit of an encounter with the older one. The much older one.
The much older one.
Yeah, the one that's, not supposed to be around anymore, and he kind of was. Not
There's
as
a lot of
corporeal.
them that shouldn't be around anymore. Which
Oh
one
yeah,
did you mean?
you're right. Esther.
So he's gone?
Gone for good. It felt so good to take him out.
I do wish I could be there to see it, but it's probably for the best I was here. Anyway. Thank you for that. Glad I'm not getting on a ship that's haunted by a hateful little man. Anyway, like I said, hop to it. I'll have to send you on your way, but shoot, I've got to get my things and pack a bunch of goodies for myself and only myself, and maybe you if you ask nicely.
All right. And I will hop to it, and instead of going out like a normal person would, there's a balcony, right? This is the same
Absolutely.
room as the balcony, right? Yeah. Calliope's going to run out and just fly on out.
Well, that's hardly fair. Sirens, think they own the goddamn? Eliana.
Me.
Yes. A donkey has brayed in the distance. It
Hold
calls
that
to you like a siren song of familiarity.
But who bought all the wine?
Do you ask are you asking the seller or?
Yes.
We had the group come in last night. Travelers by the looks of them. Bought up
From
my entire
where?
supply. Well, they had the marks of Historia on them.
She's just gonna close her eyes, ball up her hand into a fist, because she has an inkling of who the fuck could literally buy out all the wine, and there's only one motherfucker she knows could do that. And would do that. Oh. And she's gonna like walk off. Just go find that goddamn donkey.
Heading towards the sound of that, you do see a recognizable donkey, but an unrecognizable, well, a less familiar person beside them. As Apollo the donkey is a familiar sight to you, though Pavlos is not the one leading it right now. You swear it's probably one of those kids from the, not like kids, but like, one of the teens from that sun god cult you helped figure out a while ago. They're not wearing the garb of that. In fact, they're wearing a kind of typical, tunic, and are bringing in fresh goods, and they'll see you and you helped me with the Helios cult.
Mm-hmm.
I was supposed to find you, or at least one of your group. Pavlos. He's set us up outside near the falls by the forge. We're building up a bit of a trading outpost there, and he mentioned Apollo would be able to find you out, and the donkey just in your direction, nods their head. That's apparently the sign. I'm to tell you that we are deeply in your debt, and are to effectively offer you whatever we can. I brought a few goods from the farms we were able to start since you got us where we need to be, but also some other things, some new wines and stuff. Promissory notes have been made. Yes, of course. I was told the wine festival would be happening here.
Like I'll just like get him closer. It's like shut.
Just conspiratorially buying wine.
I need all of the wine you possibly have on
And when
you.
you say all the wine, do you
I mean all. Apparently, someone came through last night and bought all of the wine, and we need some to perform a ceremony and to take with us on the seas.
Well, we do have some harpy delivery. Some harpies that are offering to do delivery services. Not harpies. Sorry. Bad habit. Sirens. And they are probably capable of supplying you once the vintage comes in. I suppose I could get a bill of sale, and you could have this for the ceremony.
Whatever works. Do you want to do that here, or
I can bring Apollo down to the ship with all the wine that we have.
Oh, good. Just be discreet. I don't need people knowing and mugging you for it, I guess, in a sense. I don't know. There's a bunch of angry people that there's no wine, and
I can go see if I can get more as well. I was told I have some coin. I could do some promissory business notes, and then I'll meet you at the docks with what I've acquired.
Appreciate it. Appreciate you.
You've put us severely in your debt, so I would be happy to do so. The first batch, of course, delivered to you would be free.
Hmm.
No,
I don't
no,
really do
I was
that.
not up for. It is not up for arguments. Pavlos says we are only here because of you and your group's efforts. The finest vintage that we grow, the very first of the grapes, shall be in your honor. And the first will be to the gods, but like after that, all you.
I was about to say, I'm surprised Pythor didn't have his fingers in them first.
We're not in Historia, starting our own little thing. You should
Sure.
come by if you have a chance.
We are limited on time now, but I'll see what I can do.
Right, of course. Well, if you're heading to the forge at any point, we're just up topside. So the dwarves are very much looking forward to our wines. But anyway, I'll meet you down by the docks. Yes.
Yes.
Perfect.
There's a large ship, the old Ultros.
Like the place.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit presumptuous, don't you think? That ship like crashed into the ocean.
No, it's there. See for yourself. Okay, see you there. Bye.
Right. Bye. Where would you go next?
Procure provisions.
All right. I'm gonna ask everyone who I guess is not Leo, because I assume Leo, you're doing more games and.
Yeah, I think he's very into it. He did have 3 different medals that he is handing out to people.
You're handing out your Oh, whoa.
Well, yeah,
That's a
like these are
high-value
games.
items. Okay. I'm just saying those are high value items.
I was never going to sell them.
Yes. Yeah, if we want to potentially regroup, it could be a good spot for folks looking to get provisions. Clivey, would you be heading for provisions next or back to the ship?
I mean, it might be good to check in before doing provisions, but like,
I mean, you can fly around until you see someone carrying like 20 spears on their back. I mean, that's pretty recognizable. Especially, I don't know, if you do a fly over the city, as long as you don't get in the way of mail traffic, you should be fine.
yeah. Yeah, sure, why not? I'll stop for provisions. That's all right.
Theranos, is there anything you'd be immediately doing next after securing the sacrifices and some provisional supplies?
I think getting those and heading back would be the thing to do so that everyone knows to expect a bunch of sheep.
All right, let's say the 3 of you will meet up at the Ultros docks, where it seems a group of builders has been assembled, but is standing on the gangplank, very timidly, trying to like work their way up slowly, and like pushing each other, and then they're retreating back.
Going on over there.
One will look to you. The ship is haunted. A voice speaks to us as soon as we set foot on the ship. And then you can look up and see Abantiades, who is, of course, a ghost of sorts, on the dock. I do not think they can see me. This makes it very hard to bargain. If the 3 of you might be able to provide insight.
So you step on the ship and you hear the voice that's telling you what needs done, and then you come back off of the ship? This is a ship of legend. Do you not listen to the ships you repair? This one is just a little more vocal.
If you insist, that is. But would you not mind stepping on first to assure us it's not haunted?
Oh, it's certainly haunted, but it's not going to hurt you.
Right, right.
Think about
Um,
it. Builders who helped repair the Ultros. It's going to mean something.
Persuade.
I can do something like that with some dice and some rolling. I would be able to find that alphabetically in the place where it goes. 15.
Yeah, no, they'll kind of take a moment to consider your words and. Right, right. The ship will tell us what needs doing. It's the easiest job of our lives, and for a legendary ship such as this, they'll pat you on the back. Yeah, good thoughts, and they'll head up, and they'll all kind of freeze for a moment as they set foot and start hearing Menestokos start talking to them about what needs to get done. But the crews do seem to be moving to the areas that need refurbishing and repair.
There are people who are so quick to sacrifice just about anything to cloudy skies or, not enough rain. They certainly do well when they actually hit. Do they? It's an odd group, I guess. I mean, don't you think that's odd, Calliope? They're going to... Tolan and I just came back from a menagerie where they had a sacrifice for every reason, most of which would be happy to ask not to be sacrificed if their mouths weren't gagged, and yet something tangible and they're scared of it.
I don't know. Very strange.
Anyway, as long as the ship gets repaired. How was your trip? Fruitful?
Fruitful. Turns out Kira's going along with us. She feels up to it.
Oh. Be good.
I know.
She's
I thought we were.
About?
Yeah, I thought we were going to go on this without her.
I couldn't imagine her allowing that one way or the other. It's just good that she's on her feet and not being carried in on a massive gilded bed.
Well, yeah, I guess the ship could take it. I thought about that for 2 seconds. Should we? Probably not.
Well, we were able to secure some sheep. There are a dozen on their way. Should be enough to get us started. Both provisionally and sacrificially, I suppose.
Yeah, hopefully we can gather as much on time. I don't know if really any place in the city was prepared for something like this.
Maybe not. Maybe they weren't ready for legend made real.
You know who certainly wasn't. Someone way up there, and she's just gonna kind of suddenly point up to the palace.
Oh, yes. Well, he has an incredibly small, I don't know, tolerance for anything outside of his control.
Yeah. And it's becoming more apparent, and it's, I don't know, getting a little funnier and funnier.
It is. It's kind of the scrambling for attention after the fact.
I don't know, I feel like he might try to do if we don't get out of here fast enough.
Yeah, you're right there. It would be better to be away. Do you think... I'm going to take a look around. How many people are within earshot? Are we at least semi-private?
It's semi-private here. I mean, it's busy, especially with the sound of work beginning to go underway.
Think there's any way to avoid sacrifices to my father?
I mean, unless we can lift this entire ship off of the ocean, I don't think we can avoid it.
The ship was said to be unsinkable. And it certainly proved it does as well beneath the waves as above them.
I mean, you're right. It's certainly something that can weather this, but for how long? We kind of have to be able to get there before, the big clash. Or it's really supposed to weather something.
Ongoing interference of the Titans as this whole thing degrades. There's one more question. You are one that knows stories better than any of us. What is it that makes a god a god? Is there anything in the tales?
Is there anything in the Tales, GM? So they're like, oh, that's a very philosophical question.
What is it that makes a Titan and a god?
So
It's tough to be a god.
it is tough to be a god. My only thought is to turn to the academy for this kind of thing. I'm sure there's someone who's ruminated on that exact conversational topic, but at the moment, really, the gods are as the gods are. They sprung up in defense of the city when it was, when it needed to be fought back for. They defeated the Titans, who have been here since folk have been here. The written records state that Thylea is the mother goddess. She is created in the land around, and this land is protected by Intimane, the Hundred-Handed, and it's kind of the age of, you want to ask a god a question, go up and ask him.
There's that. But I think Calliope's answer would be someone who is a hero and stays a hero beyond the test of time.
Anyway, there's something I had in mind recently.
Yeah. I mean, there's been a lot. Are you doing okay after the whole fight? Esther got very, very close taking you out.
It could be what made me wonder some of these things. It's unpleasant, to say the least, to be faced with the question of whether or not I would be here to help. Question of if I wasn't fighting against it. I know there's all of you. I don't mean to sound so individual about it, but who would stand against Saito? Who would defy the Titan?
I mean, that's a fair thing to think. And hopefully, so many people are joining us. Maybe that number's gonna grow.
I hope it does. I hope people do start to stand against the Titans the way the Titans have stood against them for so long. It's time
I think
to
they will.
cast off old chains.
I think they will.
And you see that you have taken flight again.
Yeah, probably a weird time, but I don't know. I just kind of felt it. That is that split second that I thought I was not going to be able to do it before hitting the water and maybe a decent bit of reality. But no, I made it.
It's good to feel the wind in your hair again.
Yeah. You did. Oh, but I saw you.
I think being around all of you helps me realize that flock is a lot of things. And I can mourn what was, or move forward into the blue skies differently.
Well said.
Maybe even less important to dwell on the past.
Agreed.
Anyway. Just soaring through the blue skies.
Oh yeah. Got some provisions to find.
And we give a wing high five.
Oh yeah. That's cool.
Well, the day is coming to a close. So I do need to ask where you're all staying for the night.
I mean, we do have a sponsor.
Yeah.
Oh, you want to head back to the Siren's Roost?
I mean,
Makes a
They-
certain amount of sense.
They do have beds, and it is
They
a private place.
and other things.
Oh, they have plenty of companions. They have beds and ways to warm them.
They have a lot of those like water heater blankets. That's all we're talking about, chat.
Mm-hmm. Certainly. Certainly that. But if, Leo, as the trials conclude, you find yourself with a good amount of folks. You'd say you at least have like 65 well and strong people. Have you recruited any of your fellow athletes from the day,
Hopefully. Depending on how well Spira did, she might have won the gold.
winning, it's kind of like difficult because a lot of this is just like comparative, but she definitely has succeeded in some events over others. Notably ones that maybe Leland wasn't present in. She definitely has won some events and kind of proven herself perfectly capable of fighting.
Yeah, and then I definitely offer allow her to join us if they would like.
Spira, Egan, and Leyland were the ones who were there. If you want to offer all of them a position, I'm only going to need a persuasion check for Leland. Because, he's kind of a big-time celebrity. And I'll need to hear your argument as to why. It's been great fun, but frankly, I was already here when you all showed up.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Trying to remember who I liked and who I didn't like.
Well, Leland was your was nice to you at least. He wasn't
He's
Jorgis.
not
Jorgis was the Order of Sidon guy.
Okay, and then but wasn't Lena DeFerris fiance, or was that someone else?
Ferris Oh, no. That is Captain Avantiades.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I was like,
Yeah,
oh
no,
no,
he's
that would
of
be.
the,
He did not attend.
Yeah,
tryouts.
he didn't attend tryouts. He is already a member of the Order of the Dragonlords of Mitros, which is, a whole separate thing to consider and think about for the future. But yeah,
I'll do a persuasion. Just invite anyone capable to join. And I rolled a 9.
What is your argument? Yeah.
I think it was more. I think Leo got distracted, and did devolve into playing games and stuff, not actually getting into the task at hand of actually hiring or actually getting recruits for sailing. And so I think he's definitely just like, you should really join us. I think you would be great for our team. You did very well in the games. You almost made it, got gold, but a little bit more practice and you'll definitely come out ahead next time.
Perhaps my efforts would be better suited to improving myself till you're ready for more recruits then, and the next great games you can just see how well I do. You see, your words have struck a bit of a discord within him.
Mm.
I appreciate the challenge, though. It's always good to have some fresh blood into the Coliseum. Pushes myself. I wish you well in your journey, though.
But yeah, thank you for stopping by.
Of course. But it is also getting late for you as well, so the thought will, of course, occur to you, and I'm sure you all would have heard that, the Oracle's Chosen are having tryouts for their crew in Mount Vulcan. That rumor is spread throughout the city very quickly, so you could go pick up Leo if you three of you wanted.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, as they're getting in, I think I am just on my crate with Bubug next to me, just like saying, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. For your select few, please go get some rest and pack up your necessary supplies and meet us on our ship tomorrow at dawn for a grand adventure. And I send them on their way.
The crowd disperses. The rest of you are
Then,
there.
Then
Ready
I
to
see,
hit the sirens roost, I imagine.
I meet up with everyone and say, "Hey, Theranos, this is yours. I did not open it," and it
Why
gives
is
you
it
a kind
open?
of a mangled up letter.
Who opened it?
Oh, Pythor. He didn't. He got disqualified, so he's not going to be joining our crew. Don't worry.
What? For like
By the way, do we have to pay
3
the
different
sailors?
whats? Did you say we were paying them?
Maybe. I think it's only fair.
Well, I mean, it's not like I was going to just suggest exposure as payment, but this is a legendary ship. We are the Oracle's Chosen, and this is an attempt to save the entire world, so I would think we'd get at least a few zealots who'd believe in the cause.
Ooh, I cut those guys first.
Great.
I got too into the games. I'm sorry.
You know, a lot of the crew will be doing nothing but rowing the entire time, so they really didn't need to know much.
Huh. Yep. It'll be fine.
But it did go well.
I think so. and you see the field just a mess of just stuff thrown everywhere. Ropes, tied in weird different knots.
So you have a list of the names of those who are joining us tomorrow morning.
I turn to Bulldog. Did we
I
write
got
down?
him.
Okay. Yes, we do.
Could I
And we
see-
told them to show up. Hey,
Yes.
sure, here you go. And he hands you over a scroll. The names are recorded.
Just
The
checking.
handwriting is a little sloppy, but Bulbuck, of course, is perfectly capable of writing things down.
Oh, look
No,
at
I
look at
just-
them go. They did
I
it.
said, this is what I would call success.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't doubt it. I don't want that tinge in my voice at all. Just, I'm pleasantly surprised at the level of success is, I think, the way to... Eliana, say something nice to Leo. He deserves it.
He looks very expectantly.
Good job.
Thank you.
Bank that one. So, the Siren's Roost for the evening?
Well, apparently those Helios people are here.
Really.
Yeah,
Hippies.
apparently they're also the only people that have wine in this whole city because a certain group of historians came in and bought everything out.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So do we have
Pythor
enough?
seemed a little drunk.
Pythor
I'm
always
sorry,
seems a
what?
little drunk.
Pythor, he was here for a little bit. He was very
Of
hungover.
course. Of course he was.
I'm still confused. You sent him away.
Well, yeah. Like,
Uh,
I
from
can't
the
have a
beginning,
god.
I have wanted the gods to be more of a participant in the fact that the Titans are participating. And when one of them shows up of their own free will wanting to participate, you said no thank you?
To be
It
fair,
wasn't fair for the rest of the contestants.
he shouldn't even be here. He's supposed to be running Astoria. He's the king.
Do you really think that his day-to-day activities make a big difference on what happens in Astoria? Because I've been present for his day-to-day activities, and my money is on it running more smoothly
It's-
right now.
His presence in Astoria also brings him the reverence needed for his deification powers, whatever you want to call them. Like how we're trying to get Kira back to a working order, in a sense. If he's not there to get revered, there's probably going to be a lower level of reverence, making him weaker.
So we have a half-powered god instead of a full-powered god.
Possibly.
Or we have not a god.
It's
I'm
only
simply
a
saying
theory.
that I am thrilled that he wanted to participate. And it means a lot to me that he came. And I hope I
Mhm.
find him somewhere and thank him for doing that.
My dad showed up.
Well,
dad.
not my dad,
Yeah.
but
Supposed dad for a decent amount of time.
the very idea that the gods are organizing themselves against the Titans in a more forthright way bodes well. That's all I'm saying. If I run into him, I may ask him to come along.
That's fine.
To do what, though? He can't really fight. He'd do as much good with us as he would in Astoria.
It would mean a lot for the crew to see a god on the ship.
But wasn't Kira already coming?
She is.
Well, but she's been so secretive, I didn't know how open she wanted to be with the crew. Plus, I have a feeling her expectations of reverence may be a bit different than Python's.
Yeah, her expectation is that they follow, her acolytes follow her every word. As she, like, remembers getting groped for games.
God, I
Well,
forgot
think
about that.
We have
No.
And Eliana never will.
the Oracle's chosen, standing with the gods in a fight against the Titan. I'm just saying, I'm for the image. Siren's Roost.
We are off.
Perfect. The Siren's Roost is in the state where you expect it to be in. You now know it features a sign of your endorsement over and very clearly shown along the Siren's Roost, which has picked up traffic. But as soon as you enter, you are, of course, greeted very warmly. And shown and asked, will you need separate rooms or one large room, or are you just staying for a little while?
A supper room, please.
Go. Do you need someone to look after you?
No, I'm good, thanks.
Shame. Very well. And you'll be escorted to a room of your own. Ambrosia will turn to the rest of you. Simply say the word. I can set you up however you'd like. It is honor enough to have our treasured guests staying with us once again, but to have the crew of the Ultros, well, a different award entirely.
It's definitely been a unique journey so far. Just a room for myself is fine.
And just for yourself?
Yeah, someone with strong hands. I had a massage once that really was quite memorable.
Well, we aim to provide memorable experiences. I will have someone sent to your room.
Appreciate it.
We think very similarly. um I'm also just fine with a regular room, just me. Though, could I also get one of those wing massages? That sounded really nice.
Of course.
Great.
We take care of all of our guests. You might need to wait. Our expert in care of the more delicate parts is highly sought after your recommendations, of course.
Okay.
And she'll motion and an attendant will send you towards another room. And she'll look at you, Leo. It's just the two of us. We're finally alone.
Yes.
So-
But
Where are you staying tonight?
in just my own separate room, if possible.
And will you need company?
No, I'll be fine, thank you.
Oh, Alistar will be heartbroken. But, of course. And she'll personally guide you to your room. Meals will, of course, be served, and the massages will be provided. And if
you
that's yeah.
plan on looking at that letter during the massage.
You open it up, and basically it's written in a very gruff hand. It starts Threnos. And if you're not Threnos, piss off. This is Vulcan, the god. You might remember me. I was looking into that, that no good son of mine asked me to see about getting you something made for, well, what you might face out there. And, well, I think I got the base components, but gonna need some things out there that you might be able to send back. I'll have some messengers. I come by the ship occasionally, see if you all need orders or something like that. So don't go shooting down just every flying thing coming towards you. Make sure you at least put papers on it. Anyway, here's the list. And it will list some ingredients that I'll get to you later. In order to craft your an item that, you as a character would not be sure exactly what it is, but it's apparently going to be very helpful in handling things. It also includes a very schematic drawing of what appears to be a mechanical humanoid figure with butterfly wings. This'll be my messenger. Don't shoot at this thing. Best. Vulcan. God of the Forge and all that.
Appreciate how down to earth some of these deities are.
But if you wanted to, you can make an Arcana check on the creature that is being described.
I can do that, but I don't know what it is because I only got a 9.
Not super familiar. You know it's probably a construct of some kind, but its exact nature is a bit unknown to you.
Show it to the masseuse. Does that look familiar to you?
Oh, it's gorgeous. But no. Will that be all? Or do you need something else?
That'll be fine. Thank you. Appreciate it greatly.
Of course. You just let me know if you need anything. And yeah. I'll get you that list later. But yeah, there's nothing else. You can all spend the night in safety and security. And some very plush pillows.
For anyone that might listen through, Threnos was very vocal through most of the massage.
Not again. No, DeFera and I are probably in separate rooms. We can't laugh together. We'll be thinking about it.
Dawn breaks. And oh no, that's not it. Sorry. Dawn breaks and the Siren's Roost is filled with the brunch crowd. They just only serve brunch here. They just serve through breakfast and lunch. But you can fill up on some grub and go see the state of your ship. If you want. Or you could stay here and just, lounge about forever.
It is worth wondering exactly how much progress they made in 12 hours when 8 of it was in the dark.
Yeah, let's see.
Making your way down to the docks, you find your ship in in excellent state, actually. It's like the workers haven't stopped moving. And one of them comes off the dock to grab some supplies and just, oh, I swear these get heavier every time we come down to get them, but you get up on that ship, it's just peppy. And we'll begin hauling up some final, looks like finishing tools, basically, some paints and oils. There is also some stacked wine barrels on the sides, with Apollo looking over them, braying maliciously at anyone who tries to get close to examine them.
Yeah, you tell him, Apollo.
But it seems like your ship is going to be ready, with a decent throng of those who Leo has recruited assembled, and the various animals that have been purchased delivered. It seems only fitting that now would be the time that you would hear the clopping and sounds of a chariot being pulled. I'm sorry, this isn't the right music for them, because it's not actually a King Acastus. It's in fact...
I was like, yeah, he wouldn't show up on a chariot. Who is this?
I know. It is, in fact, Queen Valis, who approaches you all. And she arrives with guards and what appears to be a small entourage behind her, carrying goods. Heroes of prophecy, I bring you the gifts from the people of Mitros. And I've come to give you my blessing. But a moment before you all embark. And she steps off of the chariot and motions for some gifts to be brought forward. You do see she has brought, she motions that some are from the people of Mitros, those being 4 goats and 2 white cows from some of Mitros' most respected farmers, as well as some Astorian farmers who have sent things from far afield very quickly overnight. She also procures a quiver of finely crafted arrows. They are +1 arrows, there's 10 of them. From the city Centurions. It is marked with a Centurion logo, and a note of thanks is wrapped around them. There are 6 potions of healing, 4 potions of climbing, 4 potions of resistance, and 6 level 2 spell slot recuperations, smelling salts. Those are provided from the Academy, along with several treaties that have been provided for your perusal on the long voyage. And as those being loaded, Valis motions for you all to step aside with her for a moment and look over at the sea, kind of like, yeah. As you know, the Cerulean Gulf and the Forgotten Sea are vast and harbor many dangers. Some of your destinations may even vanish and shift by the workings of capricious primal powers. She pulls out a device, something you recognize from your visions, a circular thing inlaid with astrological symbology that seems to almost pulse with power as soon as it hits the sun and looks towards the sky. The Antikythera is a cunning device. It utilizes both magic and mechanical ingenuity to chart a safe path across the oceans. Every island is attuned with a particular constellation in the night sky as she looks up and shows you all. As even in the day, you can, holding it up, it seems she can look and move and adjust the Antikythera to align with something. By selecting a constellation on the device, you may chart a course to its associated island. Unfortunately, it seems that someone has stolen a gear from the device. Till that gear is replaced, you will not be able to navigate into the Forgotten Sea deeper parts. But the Cerulean Gulf should hold the answers, as I suspect the Order of Sidon is responsible for this theft. Gaius almost certainly has this piece. He departed yesterday for the Order's headquarters. On the isle of Yonder. If you are able to recover it, you're able to make your way to Praxis and the Nether Sea. But I would caution against going there too eagerly. Titans are not to be taken lightly. She turns and will look at your crew of those assembled. I have supplemented your crew with some who I've arranged. And I believe the Temple of Five have denoted some clerics to be aboard your ship. A full contingent. Myself, my siblings, and my parents. While I cannot join you physically, I do need to warn you. You have but 2 short months before the Oath of Peace comes to an end. 60 days to confront Sidon in his tower at Praxis, and Thylea on her throne in the Nether Sea. If you cannot renew the Oath of Peace in that time, then I fear to think what will befall this city. The armies of the Titans are greater than our own, and will slaughter the people of Mitros and soak the land in blood. Titans are weaker now than they were in the First War, but it would be still wise to gather what power you can on your journey. With the right weapons and knowledge, perhaps you could even challenge the Titans directly and destroy them for good. I need to remain here, keep the city in check, and my husband in check as well. For his rage will only grow as news of your successes reach our shores. I will do what I can to keep you updated, but I have no doubt his information network will be hard at their jobs as well. That being said, I believe in you all. I know you are chosen for a reason, not simply at the whims of one with vision, because you are all skilled, you are all strong, wise, capable, above all else. I will see to the blessing, but if I might have a word with Eliana for a moment.
Sure. And we back away.
You can go begin sorting out the crew and where everyone's at and sleeping arrangements, who gets to sleep on which bunk, who's sitting in which row, who's going to be buddy-buddy, sorting by height, the whole thing. It's a pain, but it needs to be done. But Valis, the goddess of wisdom, will look to you, Eliana. Are you well?
Well enough.
I have consulted what I can of the future. I believe this group has many hearts, but you are uniquely suited to be a leader, not of necessarily of this group, but of a new order of the Dragonlords. Your upbringing has marked you for it. And if that was not enough, your demeanor would bring a level head when one is needed.
I don't feel like one. I feel like that's more...
Theo is the heart, that is true. You will need him. But they will also need you. Not just to not just to mend their wounds. They will need your spirit, your mind, the care you perhaps do not show as much as you perhaps should. It is something I deal with as well. I think you can restore glory to the Order of the Dragonlords. Not the
Tall order.
It is. And I believe there's something that might help you yet. Fortress of the Dragonlords. We found its location, at great cost. It is in the Garden of Helios. A dragon lays claim to it there. When you have the Antikythera device be forged to a full capacity, you can head there and take what is rightfully yours.
All right.
Additionally, you will need a dragon. I don't know for certain where they lay, but I know the eggs my husband was given, they are not the only ones to exist in this world. I feel their call, but I know not from where. You and each member of your group will need one of these. Can't rely on Leo and his connection to this new egg alone.
I'm not sure what an egg can really do for us anyway.
An egg is much like your group at the beginning. It holds promise. It just needs to be shaped. Broken through and grown. Just as you all now set out to sea, such will young dragon wings someday take flight. Under your guidance, you may very well be what you need. You don't need to answer me. But just know, much relies on your group, and by extension you. I wish it were not so.
Likewise.
And with regards to my sister, I already apologize.
So I've heard with I don't even know if you can really even call them shenanigans anymore.
My sister is infuriatingly hard to read some days. But there is truth to her jests and jibes. In small amounts, sometimes, but... Well, she's taken to you all. Though speaking of her, I need to have words with my sister as well before she begins trying to sneak onto the ship with some fake mustache or some other trick. I leave you to your work, Dragonlord.
She'll do a polite bow.
She'll return a modest head nod towards you. Anyway, back with the group. You have a veritable amount of sailors, fighters, warriors, healers, But amongst them, I will call out a notable few. Of course, Bulbuck, Folon. You do find it. Eventually, do see Kira speaking with her older sister and having something put into her hands, some bronze container of sorts, that she looks up very confusedly at her sister and then kind of shakes her head before kind of creating under one arm and then walking your way. Y'all remember that satyr that was like low-key in love with some of y'all?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Loraya shows up again.
So, he made the list, Leo?
I have come to swear fealty to you all and an oath of protection for my beloved. And he
Yeah.
will, oh gosh, who is he in love with? Does anyone remember?
Not at the top of my head. Like, I think it was either, like, Eliana or DeFera, but I do not remember who it was.
For now, he will have 2 roses and offer one to both of you. They are pure white, very clearly curated to have all of the thorns snipped off. And he does swear an oath of protection to both of your lives.
Mm.
Oaths aren't taken lightly, Leo.
And I do not take this lightly.
Oaths are very serious things.
I know, as I've sworn one.
Liana, you should at least say thank you.
I don't think this is a
Even
good
if-
idea.
Can't
I
take
mean-
it back.
Put him in red, maybe he'll be a good person to jump in front of danger for you.
No.
Oh, come on. Wouldn't it be fun?
Not red-shirting scorned love interests.
It's hardly a shirt. Barely a loincloth.
It's good to see you up and around again.
Heard you were up and around at the Siren's Roost.
Not sure what you're talking
Oh, no. Don't worry. There are accounts. People take notice of you now, and when you make noises, people listen.
about.
Well,
Glad you're
I'm gonna
back.
go find a room. Like I said, I need to go beat my brother whenever he shows up. Best monk's mine. But yeah, Loreas is there, and
Are we letting him on the ship or not?
Yes, we need all the help we could get. He seemed very devout. And you said, don't turn those guys away.
All right, and that is things that I said.
It's just, yeah, after you said it, I felt bad.
begin immediately heading on the ship. Beyond that, of course, Egan will give you all a hearty handshake, grasping all your forearms as he makes his way on. Spear will give you some nods. Till finally a large hooded figure will begin approaching with not less a rucksack and more a rope tied to a wine barrel with some armor pieces hanging off of it. Excuse me, I gotta get on this boat.
Wait, hold on. Let me see your face.
See his face. He's 8 feet tall.
It stands up to full height again. It's obviously Pythor again.
Hey, you never know.
It was Pythor all along.
And he
You
would have gotten away
meddling
with
kid.
it too.
I would have got away with it too if it weren't for you meddling oracles chosen or something.
Oh,
You did the
we're
murder
meddling.
mystery.
We're the meddling ones. You're the one that literally bought all the wine.
Oh, just from the 1 or 2 merchants.
From the all merchants that had it here, I was lucky enough the Helios people were here to provide us with some for the ceremony and to bring with us.
Well, they got some good stuff.
Yeah, and if I see you touching it, you won't have hands anymore.
I mean, sorry, well,
Peaked, Eliana.
Captain.
The last thing I need is to demoralize our entire crew by not giving them something.
Well,
If
it's
Pythor's here, he's gonna end up drinking it all.
that's
not
not
what we need.
that's not fair. I always share a little bit with my friends.
Oh, a little bit's not enough.
Well,
And you know it.
fine. Oh gosh, it's too bright to argue about wine. I'm here.
If only there was someone here to help you with your chronic alcohol headaches.
That would be convenient.
Hmm.
If only there was some binding way to limit even a god.
Anyway, like I said, I'm here. I'm willing to help.
And it is greatly appreciated, but Eliana is very correct.
I won't touch that stuff.
Is Honora in your place?
Oh, yeah, no, I deposed myself. This feels great.
You
What?
deposed yourself?
I stepped down and have given Honora the throne. I mean, she was running the kingdom anyway. Might as well do it officially.
Told you.
So
She's
yeah, I'm free. You're free. Can I get on the boat? I'm great at rowing.
She'll kind of cross her arms, and she'll just kind of like look to the rest of the group.
I
Did
think
do well during my tryouts until he was disqualified.
I don't get that part, but
We're
You
glad to have your
disqualified
Them's
help.
the rules.
having your help is greatly appreciated. I think, as you say, you will not lay your hand on that stuff. There's
That's-
nothing we could do if wanted to. So I would hate to ask such a thing, but will you swear an oath not to drink our booze?
will I be allowed to potentially get my own booze where we go?
Yes.
I don't know if we can promise that. But...
No, he said allowed to get his own potentially when we get places. I think that's
Okay.
fine.
I swear, as long as I'm on your ship, you need not provide me with rations. Providing, food is still part of that. But the wine parts, or the liquor, or whatever, funky juices you find, fermented, all that.
That works for me.
Same.
Is that
I'm
was fun?
really thank you. And he puts a head on your shoulder. That else. Oh, I'm so glad you're here.
If you wouldn't mind, given I look over the direction Kira went, my options. Could we talk later?
Sure. Anything you need to talk about? I'm good at
Appreciate
talking sometimes. I think. Sorry. Whoa. Will that boat move?
It's going to a lot. Welcome aboard.
Oh, you're. Oh, you're sure you're not my son? And
Yes.
he'll. Oh. Okay. Right. Of course. And he'll board. But of course, also Folon joins, and then a hooded figure will approach the docks, smaller
Why is
in stature,
everyone coming towards us in hoods?
accompanied by a few Minotaur and surly guards. She'll approach quietly to you all, and under the hood you can see the movement of snake hair.
Mhm.
I have come to fulfill my part of the deal.
Greatly appreciated.
I only ask you remember the mascara is of import to me.
We will. Welcome aboard.
She'll nod and motion for the others. You work for them now. You listen to what they say, unless I say otherwise. And the Lady of Coins and her associates will join your group.
Wear
With that-
the entire time.
With that, your crew is assembled. The ship seems to be ready, and the rites are being prepared as the 5 head priests of the Temple of the Five arrive. And if you'd like, they can begin immediately.
Reason why not?
Rites are said. The crew swears themselves to the ship, to you, to your command. And more informal thing, not as super hard, but if there were traitors amongst them and they did turn on you, mutiny is still very punishable by law, less so by those who punish oathbreakers. And with that done, the wine settles into the wood and you're prepared to set sail.
God, a goddess, possessed ship, queen of the underworld. It's the criminal underworld. And quite a few friends. Be a trip.
Sounds like a whole lot of fun.
Quest. An odyssey.
Oh, God.
even.
Oh, you said it. All right, that's it, everybody. No,
Roll credits.
as you raise the sails of the Ultros and begin to leave the harbor of Mitros, you are saluted by roars of excited cheers from the gathered crowd. From the docks, admirers attempt to throw flowers and small trinkets onto the deck of your ship, all tokens of good luck. As you sail past the Colossus of Pythor, at which Pythor tries to mimic the stance, but then returns to emptying the contents of last night's meal and drink over the side. The sound of music from the city as songs of great deeds are sung and heartfelt prayers to the heroes of prophecy are chanted. Your voyage has begun. So, I have 2 questions. Who's holding the Antikythera?
I don't have the brain power or wisdom for such a thing.
The what?
Antikythera device.
navigational-
It's a navigational little doodad.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little
you know what
thing
that sounds
here.
like? It needs intelligence.
So I should take it?
It's like my intelligence isn't great, but like it's not horrible. It's in the positives.
Same.
I think it's
I'm
clear that
here at a +2.
Someone just hold it, please.
twice as good as mine. We're all just staring at it, sitting on the deck, spinning wildly. Someone needs to pick it up. One of you needs to pick it up. Not you.
Fine.
One of you two needs to pick this up.
Yeah, Eliana will grab it.
You hold it in your hands, and you feel it, that magic kind of churn. And your gaze kind of naturally pushes up to where you see stars gather around you. Each of these constellations is associated with an island. Each of these might have a story connected to them as well. Those in your ship might be knowledgeable of it. You do also have literally the goddess of storytellers. Though you are also all free to roll history checks on a particular constellation should you wish. For the moment, the anti-Kithor device can only guide you to numbers 1 through 9. So those deeper into the Forgotten Sea are currently a bit out of your reach.
Well, yeah, I think the beginning of our journey starts with getting that last gear.
You need to find the gear.
That guy is stole. Motherfucker.
But we know that he stole it, and we know going straight there might be difficult, to say the least. Perhaps we should explore a bit first before moving after that. That's just my thoughts.
So where to first?
You're the one who can see the constellations at the moment. I feel it's natural. It's your call.
True. I'm trying to remember where we gotta go. But I believe it's the warrior.
Well, you don't know which one coordinates with which island.
Damn. I know you have to go to like the Amazonian. I just feel like that would be the warrior.
Or
I'm
Themis.
certain if we go and ask her if any constellations associated with that she would know.
We need an adult.
Well, you can
Do you-
ask any of your crew about any of these constellations, and they could probably tell you a story or two. Or you can make a history check on whichever one you're looking into.
Hmm.
If you
Pick
want
a
to,
constellation.
I mean, if we want to start with the Lady of Coins, we can just go and ask her.
I will go with.
Plus, that lisp is growing on me.
Hold on, I am just waiting for this to load. Because I know I have history.
You just make a history check, yeah.
There it is.
Which constellation would you like to look into?
The warrior.
The warrior. That is which number?
Number 6.
Number 6. Ah, right. 15. You recall a story you once heard of the warrior. That cluster of stars to the south? That's the warrior, which the people of Mitros call Pythor, the god of conquest. In this case, his conquest came in the bedroom rather than the battlefield. One night, he is said to have entertained 5 beautiful sisters, one after the other, and then all of them at once. Tales of his legendary deed reached the ears of the green dragon Hexia, a former lover that Pythor had abandoned. Fueled by her jealousy, Hexia captured the sisters, turned them to stone, and placed the statues on her island as a warning of what would happen to any of Pythor's future conquests. Each of the stars is one of the sisters, a reminder of Hexia's jealousy. Even so, Pythor still seeks out new romantic conquests. Perhaps he seeks to add a new star to his constellation.
That was
Damn.
not what I was expecting.
Sick.
Like, hey, this is Pythor's sex life.
Pythor's sex life
Yeah.
star.
Thanks.
Well, you can set
We
the
could
gears.
ask him for details.
No, I'm good. Let's try. God damn, I don't know.
I'm gonna start
So I feel like I
writing
know
this
what
down.
I know. I feel like the queen is probably Valis. Bard's obviously Kira. Blacksmith is Vulcan.
Say that, but there's also a trickster one as well.
Yeah, there's also a prisoner. I'm trying to think who that could be, or what that could be.
Or we could just go on and head that way. Learn en route.
You tell me
Hmm.
the route.
Because we're not going to get there immediately.
No, but we'll do one more story time attempt.
Sure. Roll me history and
We'll
tell me
go.
which one.
We'll try the trickster because that one's got me intrigued.
Okay.
Never mind.
Solid
You're not-
8.
You're not familiar. You might need to ask somebody.
Nah. All right. What's the play on stands?
Say we pick one, head that way, learn about it en route, sort it out when we get there. I think all
Cool.
of them are going to be important steps along the way, some of which more than others, and we need to be prepared to go beyond the ones we're currently limited to.
Let's start big then. We'll start with the twins and head that way.
All right.
Sounds good.
Very well. And with your direction set, your journey beginning, I think now more than ever would be a good time to call this session to a close. I will leave you with this, though. As you set course with the indicator, the gears shift and lock into place, and you look down, and the wine dark sea seems to lighten in a path before you, charting your course in your eyes. If you do ask anyone, that will be a story for later. But Menestokos stands beside you as you can motion for the drumbeat to start and the rowers and the sails to work in tandem as you take off, constellation of the twins, whatever that might hold. That being said, that is going to be where we call it. So thank you all so much for joining us for this Labor Day episode. I hope you've all had a great Labor Day, and I hope you're all appreciative of all of the work that's been done to get to this particular celebration. But before we sign off and do all that ooey emotional feeling, we love you all stuff, why don't we go around the circle in which you introduce yourselves, tell people who you are, where they can find more of your excellent work, who you're playing tonight, and yeah, that's really all I need from you. So, starting, of course, with Comrade Crash.
Awesome. Hey, Comrade Crash. I played Leo Dracos, the human paladin. You can just find me here, as always, and I'll pass it on to Sir Heck.
All right. Hey, everybody. It's me, Sir Heckelot. As per usual, tonight I played Calliope, the Siren College of Epic Poetry bard who walks past the Dragon Slayer. That's such a mouthful every time. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Sir Heckelot, including Twitch, Itch, as long as Twitter is around, Instagram, Blue Sky. I'm all over the place. Just find me. It's the best place to figure out where I'm going to be in the TTRPG space next, because I tend to wander just a whole lot. Most notably, for this coming week, you can find me over on Enchanting Sorcery tomorrow night, and Into the Old Markgrave. It's Into the Woods inspired D&D 5e campaign. We're having a really good time. Wild shit is happening just all the time. And you won't want to miss it. It's different every episode, I swear. Every other Thursday you can catch myself as well as Chrissy over on Dat Magic Juice's YouTube channel with All Hail the Queen and Tyranny of Dragons campaign, where we are very ridiculous. We make a whole lot of jokes. It's very goofy, but we still get some shit done. It's fantastic. And then lastly, on the 10th, this Sunday, you can catch me over in Singularity Roleplay playing City of Mist. We're starting a new case, and that's going to be super fun. I have a bunch of stuff other in the works, like there's some secret stuff that is going to be happening at the end of this month and into October, so you won't want to miss it. That is entirely too much out of me. Keep on keeping on.
I'm the last hero. Tonight I played Thrynos, the Siren Sorcerer, who walks the path of a Demi-Titan. Not too much to say. Cold hands, warm hearts in 2 weeks. That's about it. It's right here on Neon Lights Roleplay. We have an angry lesser goddess to deal with, and we'll see what she wants as she waits ominously in the room over a giant pit. I think that's it for me. Over to Tony.
Oh, hi, I'm Tony. Played Eliana Legide, our elf cleric walking the path of the gifted one. I can't be found. Don't worry, it's fine.
I'd find you.
But that's it for me. All this fun silence. Let's move on to Turk.
It's me, everyone. I am Turk, or Turk Accented, if you want to go look up into that blue sky and see stars shining down on you, guiding you to strange and mythic places. That's my favorite thing to do. Because I have been so excited to begin this chapter as our journey unveils in full and our countdown starts. Set your clocks, folks. 60 in-game days. 60 days. That is all we have before the Oath of Peace ends. And whatever our heroes accomplish, they accomplish. Whatever they are unable to stop will wreak its fresh hell on Mitros. Anyway, if you want to see more of me and the cool things I do, don't. But also, you can, of course, find me tomorrow over on Lost Caravan, where I'll be playing some Masks, which is not something I initially expected, but I'm very excited about. We're going to be a bunch of old heroes called back to the cause, and a little last-minute replacement game over there. Then I'll be back here on Wednesday for By His Shadow Peace, where I play one of God's favorite Marines, except things are getting real wild and crazy. I do not lie. Every single time we finish that game, I find a new reason to inwardly gasp. It's very embarrassing for me, but it's still greatly worth it. And on the 7th, we are back with more Impossible Landscapes, the Delta Green game over on Lost Caravan. I am not playing God's favorite Marine now. I am playing Agent Maltese, who is a... I actually get to emote. I'll just leave you with that. I get to use words, and my face can move, and people, and I can laugh, and it's a good time overall.
Great.
No, it's really fun.
You don't scare people as much.
I don't. I do. I did hit somebody with the irons, but you know, beyond that, it's fine. That's gonna be every Thursday, not every Sunday, every Thursday for the foreseeable future. Except for the 14th, I'll actually be here with some last transmission. And then on the 18th, we'll be here on your screens, sailing in this Greek adventure mythology sailing game. We're actually on the water. It's so exciting. I'm so excited. So that being said, thank you all so much for joining us. We greatly appreciate you and all the support you've given us thus far, and we'll hopefully continue to give. Remember that through collective action, even those strong things even those powerful things can be brought down and laid low, and even the gods are bound by oaths and prophecies. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time. Good night.